Hello, it's 1 o'clock and we are getting ready for the conversations with the council president. Given a few minutes to let everybody join us online. I hope everyone's doing fine. I just want to check and make sure we're connecting. All right, I see some people are joining us now. Good afternoon. This is Felicia Moore, your Atlanta City Council President. Thank you all for joining. I know many of you are at home sheltering in place. I certainly hope that you're staying home and doing that. And I just wanted to touch base with you. I think it's good for us to continue to connect, even though we're living in a new normal now, and connecting is always a great thing. Hello, Jacqueline. How are you? I hope you are doing fine, and as well as everybody else who joins us today. So I'm going to give it a couple more seconds. I see people are starting to join us, and then we'll get started with the conversation. If you have any particular question or information that you want to have, excuse me for moving around a lot, please type them, and we will get those answers to you if we have them, and if we don't, we will find them. I certainly hope most of you have liked or follow my official page, which is Felicia Moore, Atlanta City Council President. I'm sharing this on my personal timeline and other mediums so that more people can join us and more people can see it. But I do encourage everyone, if you have not already, to like and follow Felicia A. Moore, Atlanta City Council President. We post some exclusive things that I do not post anywhere else, but the more that you share or enjoying the things that I have, you'll be more likely not to miss information that you may need. On the page, we always have committee meetings, council meetings, work sessions. I'm a news junkie, so I share a lot of articles that I read that I think would be of interest to you. We share resources. People send my office information about events or different things several times, and we share that with you. So if I know about it, you know about it. And one thing we want to be in the council president's office is a resource to you and a guide to you. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because I'm sure some of you may have some questions. And I'm going to start this one with what I started with the last time because, we are dealing with coronavirus. We're dealing with all of those issues, and that's all you're hearing. But I do want to remind you, because I'm sure you've probably seen this. I know it's going to show backwards, but this is the Census 2020. It's come in the mail. Please, you've got plenty of time on your hands. Take time and fill this out and send it in, or go online and fill it in. I know they have extended the deadline, which was originally April 1st, but why wait? Let's get this done. And I want to use the situation we're in with COVID-19 as a perfect example as to why you should fill this out. Many times when we get funding from the federal government, even through state government, it is based on population. It may be based on other aspects of our demographics. And if we don't count ourselves and we're not counted, we are leaving money on the table. And in light of what is going to happen when we finally get back sort of to a new normal after COVID-19 issues, there's going to be money that we're going to need to keep our city going, to keep services coming to you, particularly health and human services. So please, filling out your census is more important than ever now. So it's in the mail. Please make sure you fill it out or go online as this instructs you, and do it now. Don't wait so that you don't forget it, that other things don't come in your way. So I want to give you an update on what your Atlanta City Council is doing. As you know, we held our first remote meeting, and this week is committee week. And today there will be a committee meeting, and then there will be some other committees that will meet in the next 2 days. If you go on my page, I have the full list of committee meetings, when they meet, and how you can access those meetings because we are doing them remotely. We are not at City Hall. We are not physically meeting. We are practicing what we preach. But we're also very committed to transparency. And so we are making sure that you have access where you can call in and you can hear what is taking place in the meeting. We've also have an opportunity for you as citizens to provide your public comment prior to the meeting. It will not necessarily be read, but it will be acknowledged that it's received. It will be placed in the minutes of that meeting. We are working diligently to try to make sure that the public has better access. And we're also working to make sure that those issues that we know the public would like to comment on, that we can either hold them off if they're not urgent, or we try to find some way to make sure that we get full public comment. Today, we had a conference call with the mayor, which was also accessible to you, and we will post you a link on this page and others so that you can go in and listen to what took place in that call. So we have committee meetings coming again, and my staff is working diligently to post information as I talk, so you can hit those links and get that information. But there's also a work session for the tree ordinance. The tree ordinance, has been a very controversial issue. There are a lot of people with a lot of issues related to the tree ordinance. And there is a work session, and it will be taking place. Now, I believe, and I cannot firmly tell you this, but I believe the council will be waiting until we can get more input. I should have got myself some water. Hold on. So we can get more input from you as to your opinions and how we may amend it before a final adoption. Let's see, what else is on my list? We finished a conference call with the mayor. It was at 10 a.m. this morning. We will try to find some summaries to put online, as well as a link so you can hear it yourself. I do want to bring up a few things that she said that I think would be of interest to you, because I've been asked on social media, been asked about MPU meetings. And she mentioned that she will be putting in an executive order that would suspend MPU boards and commission meetings, because it's very difficult for any of them to meet right now, because all of it would have to be remote. That's number one. But number two, many of those boards, commissions, and MPUs are actions or recommendations that we're taking for zoning review board and those kinds of things. And pretty much all of that, not pretty much, all of that is on hold. So that is why those meetings will be suspended, and she will be issuing an executive order. And of course, as information comes out, I will get it to you. She also mentioned that she has a shelter in place executive order, which I'm really extremely happy to hear about, because as you all know, if you follow me on social media, I have been asking that people stay at home and asking for the city and the state to consider a shutdown order. And we'll talk a little bit more about COVID-19 later. I don't want to get too deep into that. She was also asked about parks. I know many of you have asked about the Beltline and other areas where people are congregating, and so we are looking to, and I think they're already putting signs up, but she mentioned that she had been talking to Dr. Sanjay Gupta and another doctor that I can't recall that she mentioned, and they were not encouraging closing the parks, because if you tell people to stay at home, they also need, for our own mental health purposes, to be able to get out, get some fresh air, and get into our parks and green spaces. Hopefully, people will take this more seriously and understand that social distancing also requires you to do that when you're in a park. I see several people. Hello, Jacqueline McDonald. I don't see any questions right now, but I will take them if you want to type them in or comments. Also, we talked about the business improvement loan fund from Invest Atlanta. I've posted links to that on my page. And so I hope small businesses are taking advantage of that, because we really need to understand that our small businesses are taking a severe and unexpected hit. So please make sure you take advantage of all of that. I've also posted some information from the Small Business Administration, and I'm sure there will be a lot more information to come. And before I go on, I want to just stop for 1 minute and just thank those people who are out there in the trenches. We had a police officer who has been diagnosed with coronavirus. I'm sure, unfortunately, that we'll hear other reports. We've had elected officials as well. So there were a lot of people who are out there who are serving us, our police, our fire, our public works, our watershed employees, and the list goes on and on. So those city employees who are essential, who are out there on the front lines, thank you for your service. Also, just to the grocery store workers, the people who are keeping the food stocks, the truckers who are getting them there, and most importantly, the people who are there to care for us if you are infected and have serious health issues. All the hospital workers, from our doctors, our nurses, the people who have to keep the hospital clean. There are many people who are out here serving you and us, and I want to thank them. Let's see. I have a question. I want to make sure I get to it, but a couple of other things. Fulton County, please make sure you check their website. We're going to find information and post it as we can, because seniors, I talked to a couple of I just called some of my senior residents that are neighbors just to check in on them, and I had to scold them a little bit because they really weren't getting how vulnerable they are to this virus, and we got those issues straightened out. But check in on your neighbors, check in on your seniors, make sure people are taking this seriously. This COVID-19 there's no cure, there's no vaccine to keep you from getting it. And it is highly contagious. And because it's a new virus, we are not sure of all the ways that it can spread. We know it's airborne. We know it can live on surfaces, both for hours. So washing hands, sanitizing our hands, protecting yourself, or just staying home and staying out of the social gatherings is a good way to do it. So Marvin Brand Jr. asked me, can you explain the shelter in place? What does that mean? So I mentioned earlier that the mayor mentioned, and kudos to her, that she is working on an executive order for sheltering in place. I cannot speak to what that is. She did not go into details, so we'll have to wait and see what regulations those are. But I'm saying to people, stay at home. Stay in your own environment and don't go out in public unless it's urgent or critical. That's for groceries, for something to eat, or for getting your medications. And even then, if you call your pharmacy, they may be able to mail them or deliver them. There are many ways that many of the grocery stores are involved with Instacart and other apps where you can order your groceries from home and have them delivered. So there's not a whole lot of reasons why you would need to leave your home, other than maybe to go take a walk your dog, work in your yard. But I'm just encouraging people to limit social contact with those outside of your household. And if your people in your household are going out without you and having contact with others, they may need to be in another place. We need to contain this COVID-19, and the reason why is because those people who have severe complications with this end up in the hospital. And there are only so many respirators. Our hospital people are overworked. They do not have the equipment that they need, and they cannot serve you. And if you follow me, you've seen where I posted from Italy. And it's just heart-wrenching to see what's going on in the hospitals and the strain that those nurses and doctors are going through. And yesterday I posted a video from a worker in Grady Hospital right here at home who is having to use her mask over and over again because they are short. And she talks about pleading with Atlanta residents to stay at home. I ask you to go and watch that video as well. So that's what I'm saying is stay at home if you can and stay out of the public. Let's see. Laura asks President Moore, I might need my glasses a little bit. Would you consider postponing the tree rewrite session? That is not in my purview. I do preside over the full council meeting, and I, exert my authority to the extent that I have to make sure that we are able to run our council meetings. The committee meetings are chaired by committee members, and they decide whether they're meeting, because some committees are meeting, some committees are going to meet during the full council meeting, and some committees decide whether they're going to have those work sessions. And so the Community Development Human Services Committee, I believe is the correct committee, is where the tree ordinance is under, because the planning department, and so they have decided to continue with the work session. You may want to reach out to Council Member Matt Westmoreland, who chairs that committee, about your concern. But I am quite certain that even with this work session and discussion that may take place, that no action will be taken on the tree ordinance until probably a later date because of the situation we're in. Hello, Mr. Young. I'm waving back at you. Let's see. Gary, what would be your expectation for leaders at the community level during the crisis? Example, advancing communications, etc. Well, I think we all need to share information. So I have information that I post, and if your community organization, neighborhood organization, civic organization, fraternity, sorority, whatever groups that you're in, if it is valuable information, share it, and share it with me. We need to, in this age of technology, which is really allowing us to stay connected, to continue to share information. So that you should do. I think that that's one thing that on the community level you can do, is to share information. And again, pick up the phone like I did and call some of your neighbors. Hopefully you have their phone number. I'm checking on my elderly residents. You should too, or people that you know live alone and may need assistance. So we have to take care of each other. Let's see. Good afternoon, Felicia. Thank you for addressing the public. My daughter, and this is from Margaret. Good afternoon, Felicia. Thank you for addressing the public. My daughter is an ER physician and is urging us to shelter in place and to please contact Governor Kemp and urge him to have the state shelter in place. And the mayor mentioned on the phone call that she has an executive order for shelter in place. She has not issued it. The governor asked her to hold off on it until such time that he had his press conference. And I think that is at 5 or 5:30 today. So keep your eyes on the news and look for the governor's press conference, and then hopefully following that we will hear from the mayor in terms of what her executive order will encompass. Time equals lives. I agree that, Margaret, and I agree with everything you said. Again, the ER physician has mentioned that to you, and if you go on my page, you'll see a YouTube video from a young lady who works there. Hold on one second. Who also is working at Grady, who is urging people to please stay at home. Let's see. So we've posted many of the things I talked about. the economic assistance for Atlanta businesses, and a lot of other things. Okay, so Continental Colony Community Association is asking, with the shelter-in-place executive order, will there be provisions for grocery stores and essential services? I'm quite sure there will be. Again, I'm not sure how aggressive the mayor's executive order will be. She did not go into details, but we will find out once she issues it exactly what you can and cannot do. Or it may just be an urging, so I'm not quite sure. So are there any other particular questions that people may have? Please join in. Felicia, we appreciate your leadership. Thank you. Thank you, Eva. Again, so I just want to recap. One, if you have not liked Felicia Moore, Atlanta City Council President page, do that so that you can keep up to date. Also, everybody has received Census 2020 in the mail. And the reason I'm bringing this up is this COVID-19 should really make you reach for it and then encourage others to make sure they do it, because funding is going to be needed to help deal with this situation. It's going to come from the federal government through the states, etc. Many of the formulas they use in terms of who gets what funding and how much comes from census data. That's why this is important, imperative that you fill out. You don't have any excuse. You have plenty of time. They send it to you in the mail. You can do it. Fill it out and mail it in, or you can go online, but do it ASAP. Wouldn't be hard for you to ask folks to support their local businesses. So many are struggling. Yes, it would be, Laura. And we posted information for those small businesses for you to get you assistance. And as soon as we find it, we will get it. We encourage people to support small businesses. I had even heard someone had a suggestion. If you have a housekeeper or somebody who cuts your grass or provides goods and services for you, you know, even though they should not come to your house and clean your house because we are trying to limit our contact, pay them anyway. You tithe and offerings at church. Even though many churches are closed, send your offering anyway. If you have a local business that you love, buy a gift card or just send them something. We do need to support each other in this time of need. And Laura, thank you for bringing that out. I appreciate you. And Mr. Riley, yes, I'm going to keep mentioning Census 2020 because this is so appropriate right now that we make sure, because this is not going away tomorrow. This is going to go on. Right now, if funding comes down today, it's going to be funding based on those people who filled out the census 10 years ago. The next year or two, we're going to be dealing with the numbers from this census. And we need it. And please make sure that you fill this out. I will take a couple more questions if anyone has them. If not, we can start to wrap up. We can start to wrap up in about 6 minutes. 30 minutes is probably good. I do want to say to people, thank you all for engaging, and make sure that you stay connected. Please make sure you're checking on your friends. Please make sure you're supporting your local businesses. Make sure you're sheltering in place and taking care of your seniors. I'm really concerned about seniors because of their vulnerability, but let me say this. I'm concerned about our young people because somehow when they were earlier reporting, they were saying how the numbers for younger people were not there. Well, that is changing, and over half of them are now cases. We have young people and kids in the ICU fighting for their lives, but the young people are not getting it. We're seeing where they're still congregating. I saw where someone posted in Decatur, it wasn't here in Atlanta, where they were actually in a nightclub as if nothing was there. I mean, it was packed. And so we are not being cautious. And if you know someone who's young, just check in on them and make sure that they're taking this seriously and not going out in public and not going to nightclubs, which should not be open, and not. I saw a group of them where someone posted that they are doing. They're meeting like almost like a car show. They're doing all the things that they used to do. I know this is a big shock for them, that life as they know it has changed immediately, but it's up to us as adults to check in on them and make sure they're taking this serious. So anyway, I posted also, I had a interview with Maria Boynton on V103. You'll hear my strong plea for you to shelter in place, and that link is there. Feel free to do that. And I want to thank all of you for joining me on this Facebook Live. We will post it. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. But follow my page, Felicia A. Moore, Atlanta City Council President. I post a lot of information. I'm also on Instagram, and I'm also on Twitter. So I also want to remind you that the tree ordinance rewrite work session is scheduled for 1 p.m. on Thursday, March 26th. It will still be done through teleconference. And please note that electronic submissions of comments are strongly encouraged. Again, I believe the council will not take final action on that, hopefully, until we're all done. But as every step of the way on this tree ordinance rewrite goes, please take advantage of that. Thank you, Walter. You're amazing as well. Thank you for sharing information that I get sometimes to share with other people. You're a big supporter of small businesses, as they are many of your clients. And the tree, the tree next door and Buckhead Council of Neighborhoods has written a council member Westmoreland to suggest to postpone the meeting to a time in which everyone can give their feedback. So that's good. Always reach out to us. Council members are teleworking, and they are making sure that we are staying connected. Let me see. I think I have one more thing, and then I'm going to let you go. So if you have any questions, this is the 2-minute warning. Just give me 1 second. Let me check on somebody is texting me feverishly to ask something. But okay, that can wait. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Last question. Let's see. Okay, that's it. So again, thank you all for joining. Okay. Thank you, Skylar. He's telling us that the media advisory, Governor Kemp, Department of Public Health Commissioner via Georgia Public Broadcast, and he has put that link there, and my staff will get it, and we will post that as well. So a couple of things we're going to be watching out for before the day is up is the governor's address to us today, and then any other follow-up from that from our mayor. Anything that I hear, as soon as I hear it, I will post it. Thank you all. Please make sure you join and follow Felicia Moore, Atlanta City Council President. Also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I urge everyone, take your time, fill out your census 2020. Also, please stay at home, limit your contact, and let's all pray for all of those who are out there who are actually putting their life and health at risk for us, our public works, our watershed, all of our city employees who are essential, our hospital workers, the truck drivers, the people in the grocery store, all of those people who are out there in the public risking their health for you. Thank you for joining us. We will do another Facebook Live again. Okay, let me see. I'm sorry. I do not have any update on the Grant Park parking deck status. I'm sure that that is not on the priority list right now, but if I do hear any information, Tom, I will certainly share with you. Take care, everyone. Stay home, stay safe, and make sure you call and check on your loved ones. Thank you.